So, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantamania just came out, and you can already expect where this is going. I mean, the last few MCU movies have not been the best. I mean, even Black Panther Wakanda Forever, which I can't remember what I gave it, but I think I gave it like an 8 out of 10. Yeah, it turned out not to be that good in terms of other people's reviews. And looking back on it, I can kind of see why, but this movie's a little bit different, as it actually sets up the MCU Phase 4 really well, because it's got some good things in it, some really good things, but also some pretty bad, not so nice things. So first off, the CGI is alright, somehow. I mean, the CGI in the past few movies hasn't been the best, but this one it actually looks pretty good, for the most part. Now, on to the bad guy, who's played by, I can't remember who he was played by, or the name of the person he was played by, but it's played by the same person as He Who Remains, because his character is the same person as He Who Remains, or the Timekeeper as I call him for short. But, so, he does actually really well as Kang, and I can see him being really good at him, because I was worried to see what his performance would be like after his enthusiastic, bombastic, nice performance as He Who Remains or the Timekeeper. And I'm happy to say that I'm not disappointed. He actually did really well, and he looked like a quite terrifying villain. It did really well in the story too. Now, then there's the other villain, who, I forgot his name, but he plays MODOK. He's the same person as the villain from the first Ant-Man movie. And yes, they did make his head big, they did show that, and yes, it is really weird. Now, he does die at the end of the movie, sorry, spoiler alert, but he looks pretty weird. I might be showing a clip of him on the screen right now, but overall, I did actually think that it did work pretty well. I mean, as a bit of a comedy bit, it looked pretty weird, but they knew that it would look weird, and so they often play it as a joke of how big and how weird his head looks. So yeah. Now, as for the rest of the movie, the plot's alright, it isn't that great, but overall it works. There's this one character that's like a freedom fighter, who's kind of like this woman who leads everyone to victory in the end. I thought she could have used a bit more of a character arc. Now Cassie, who's Scott Lang's daughter, or Ant-Man's daughter, she did pretty alright as her own thing, and I actually felt like she belonged in the story, which she did do very well in the first two Ant-Man movies, but I think it was played exceptionally well here. Now, as for the action is alright. Obviously, there isn't much shrinking down in this movie as there is in the previous movies, because they're in the quantum realm and all that. There's also the giant eyeball battery guy, who looks pretty cool. He's my favourite character, despite the fact that he died in the end. But yeah. Apart from that, I would actually say that I can't say much about the rest of the MCU, or MCU Infinity Saga over phases 5 and 6, but this movie was kind of 50-50 for me. Like, it had the good elements of the acting and the CGI, a lot of good Ant-Man stuff, all the characters, well, most of the characters, like the main lead characters, the other characters were kind of, felt like they were kind of underperformed. They didn't really show much of the quantum realm, like they didn't go into all the specifics. There was also the end credit scene where we got to see our first look at the Kang Dynasty, which is cool. We'll see more of them in obviously the movie The Kang Dynasty and Loki Season 2. And I can say that's a solid start with a lot of good setup and all that. As an actual movie, I'd give it a 7 out of 10. Like, I can see this being better than Wakanda Forever. Well, kind of the same as Wakanda Forever, but better than a lot of the other movies. Like, it's slightly better than Wakanda Forever, but I'm kind of a little bit hesitant to say that since I know it's probably going to get bad reviews, but I actually thought this one was alright. So yeah, 7 out of 10 and pretty good setup. Anyway, I got like a movie coming up about... Actually, no, I'm not going to spoil what's coming up, but I've got a big project coming up, so... Sorry I've been away for a little bit of a while, but subscribe if you want to see the big project coming up. And see ya.